Hey, spiritual fam, welcome to Prenetta's Spiritual Lounge, a podcast where we talk about manifesting, healing, astrology, and all the spiritual magic under the sun. I am your spiritual coach, Prenetta, and I am here to bring you healing, clarity, and the answers your soul seeks. Hello, spiritual fam. Welcome back to another episode of Prenetta's Spiritual Lounge. Oh my gosh, why am I nervous? I feel like I haven't done this in a while. Oh my God, am I echoing? Okay, let me make sure I put my face in the mic. Gosh, I feel like a newbie. You know how when you go on vacation from work and then you go back to work and you're like, I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. I'm trying to podcast and I'm like, it took me 30 minutes to set up when it used to take me 5 minutes max to set up my podcast. But we are doing a little bit of a different setup right now. I'm recording this via camera. I'm recording this and I'm gonna put it on YouTube and just jumping off the deep end here. I've never done this, y'all. Everything about my podcasting journey has been me doing it myself. Everything has been a learning curve, me figuring it out, me testing and trying over and over until I get it right. So it's going to be the same thing for podcasting and recording it via camera. So I am not a videographer. I am a creator 100%. I love podcasting, y'all. Podcast is my thing. Podcasting is my jam. My jam. Okay? Is my jam. And so whenever I feel like where am I going next or leading to next in the realm of things that I want to do. I want to do so many things, but podcasting is always number one, is always such a priority to me because I just love it. It is my favorite form of creating and being a creative, and yeah, so it was time to step it up a notch. So here we are. This is so weird. I have to get used to looking in the camera. Y'all don't judge me, okay? Don't judge me from this first video because I don't even know if my frame is good. I don't even know if my lighting is good. This is what I'm saying. I am not a videographer, so give a girl credit where credit is due, okay? Give me some credit. Podcasting, I figured that all out on my own. It was all me, baby. I figured it out on my own. And that's just how creating things and putting things together, being an entrepreneur, that's just how it goes. A lot of time you're just failing forward, hoping for the best, seeing how things work out. So let's do a little life update before I go into, we're going to talk about the collective energy, y'all, because y'all know it's been a mess. Okay, it has been a mess. This collective energy is all over the place. And it's been a little scary. I'm not even going to lie. I have been having moments of fear and anxiety has been bubbling up in me so much this past week. I have to try to not talk with my hands because you can hear it on the mic. So I'm going to try to not talk with my hands, but I am normally a hand talker. So I'm going to try to not do that. But anyways, anxiety has definitely been coming up with this collective energy. We just closed out Mercury retrograde, right? I was going to actually start this podcast 2 weeks ago, but then I knew that Mercury retrograde was right around the corner. So I was like, let me not, because I don't want to have all these tech glitches, issues, things like that. And I was like, let me just not do that to myself. Okay. Let me just wait for it to pass. And so we are now past Mercury retrograde. Mercury is direct, thank God. But there is that post period, so there might still be some glitches, things coming up. But anyways, with this, the energy will still be very prevalent. So here I am with my hands again, okay? Like I said, don't judge me in this first video. Just like my first podcast ever, if I listen back to that now, I'm like, girl. I just was all over the place. I was all over the map. I don't even think my audio was messed up. So if this turns out not a perfect video. It is what it is. And that's all I'm going to say. I am not a perfect person, but I'm okay with making myself look like a fool. It doesn't really matter because I know who I am. So it doesn't really matter what people got to say about me. Okay? But this is something that I've just been wanting to do. And it's like, why not? I got to take the podcast up a notch. You guys know me. You always got to be better than you were yesterday. You always got to be leveling up in life. And me being the Taurus that I am, that next step for me was getting this video together, this podcast and video together. And I have on my computer here, my lovely computer is just keeping me updated with time, where I record and stuff like that. This is like a true behind the scenes. Before I was like, whatever. And also today, of course I put myself together. This is going to be the first video, but y'all are going to see me. I'm planning on recording at night, okay? Which is exciting because in my new apartment, which I'm super excited about, I don't have neighbors on this side. So I don't have to worry about like there's somebody literally behind the wall listening to me. I don't have that. Thankfully, before in my last place, I did have that, where my neighbor was right there, which was always made me feel kind of weird when I was podcasting and things like that. I don't have that here, so I feel like I can be crazy loud and stupid and say whatever I want, talk about spiritual craziness and just not care if they're listening over there and thinking I'm a crazy conspiracy theorist or crazy woo-woo person. I just don't care. I also don't have neighbors on that side of me. I also don't have a neighbor on this side of me. I just have an upstairs neighbor. But luckily I have pretty high ceilings in this new place, so I really like never hear them. Where before in my last apartment, I did feel like we were kind of all on top of each other, like energetically wise, I could feel that. And I just don't feel that here. So I feel like this was kind of the perfect space for me to venture into videoing, posting the video of the podcast and stuff like that. So here we are. Okay, like I was going to say, I plan on recording at night, which are going to be like more chill podcast vibes where I'm going to have my light going. Let me try to give you like a little bit of a tour of this space. This is my sign, my breathe sign. If you guys don't know, I have a tattoo on my wrist. It's hard to see, but I have a tattoo on my wrist that says breathe. I got that. That was my first ever tattoo. I got that when I was, I think I was 14 or 15 because I had to have my mom fill out paperwork that I could get a tattoo. So I think that's, you have to be like under 16 or something like that. So I was like 14 or 15, I got this tattoo and it's very special to me. It just symbolizes tough times in my life and how I moved past it, and knowing that I can breathe through anything and I can get through anything. It has a very, very deep meaning, trauma, all those things, right? But we don't need to go there right now. But I have that here, which is lovely. And then I have this, what are these things called? I want to say like cork boards. I don't even know. You know. And I'll switch that up on occasion and put different stuff on there. But right now it says Primo. My parents were here a couple of weeks ago. I hope you guys don't mind like me talking about myself for the first couple of like 15 minutes here, but then, you know, we'll talk about the collective energy and different stuff that I want to chat about with you. But for now, I want to update you on my life. Okay. This sign here, my parents actually helped me put all of this up. They helped me move. And I left one day. When I came back, this was all set up, which was like so nice because my mom has heard me talk about, I gotta remember to breathe. Oh my God. My mom has heard me talk about how I have been wanting a podcast corner because I've been wanting to record basically on the like film video. She's been hearing me talk about it for the past like year. I was gonna set up a podcast corner in my last place and then I just never did because I don't know, timing didn't feel right. Maybe a little bit of laziness. And oh, that was the other thing. I don't know how to hang stuff. Okay. You know, my dad wasn't in my life. I never learned how to hang things. My mom always just hung it and never taught me how to do it. So I don't know how to hang things. So they hung all of this for me and I came back and this is what it looked like, which was like a dream. Okay. So amazing. And Yeah, so it says primo on here because that's what first my stepdad started calling me that, primo. And then my mom also started calling me primo too. So now that's kind of like my family name. They call me primo. And yeah, but I'm going to change that, I think, and put like the podcast name, or I might put different stuff on there that we're like talking about certain topics that we talk about on the podcast. I'll probably like put that up there, or the collective energy that we're going over. I'll probably put that up there, whatever. But you get the vibe. And then over here, we have my globe, right? Because I'm not a world traveler yet, but I will be, okay, honey? So here's my globe. And then I have two globes because once upon a time when I finally traveled for the first time in my life, I went to Europe. You guys have heard my story. If you haven't, go back to season like 1 or 2 where I told the story where I had my spiritual awakening in Italy. And that's where I found my love of travel. And so I was going through an obsession phase at that time of my life of being like, I need to travel as much as possible. It opened up my eyes in so many ways, which that's what traveling does. So I was obsessed and got these two globes at like Big Lots or no, Home Goods, right? I got these two big, I don't use these things. I just was like, I was having a moment. I don't know. But they're cute for decoration, okay? And then I have crystals over here, obviously. Some amethyst, some rose quartz, some black tourmaline, and then this is kind of hard to do all in one corner. And then I have this one piece that was given to me from a reader that I met in Florida. And this is really good for people who are clairaudient and really good to help you to channel that. This like little like blue piece like right in the middle. This is like a raw piece of it, but that little piece in the middle is like a really powerful crystal to use to be clairaudient, and you can like hear a lot more crystal clear when you use this with like meditation and stuff like that. I really don't use this that much, but when she told me about this, I was like, I have to have it. You know how crystals are, like you hear what they're good for, and then you're like, I need it in my life. Yeah, and then I don't know if you guys can see, I don't know if it's in frame, but I have crystals at the top of my head, basically, and it's the 7 chakra crystals. I don't think you can see that. I don't think it's in frame, but hanging from the ceiling, literally right above me, are the crystals for the chakras. And that's right above me, which I love because it gives like such good, like, we in alignment right here. We're going to be doing some channeling here, fam. We're going to be channeling energy here, fam. I'm ready. And is that it? Oh, Oboe, my monkey. I got to stop moving my arms, y'all. I'm so sorry. Like I said, don't judge me on this first video. Okay, we're learning over here. Oboe. My friend Oboe, okay? I have had that little monkey since I was like 10? I don't know, super young, like 8 or like 10 or under. But he has traveled with me everywhere. His name is Oboe, and yeah, he's like a little guardian angel protector. I honestly am not kidding you guys. I feel like he sucks up negative energy. I'm not lying. I really feel like he sucks up negative energy. When I was going through a really dark moment in my life, I remember I felt super gravitated to like pick him up, and I did. And I swear to you, like, I'm not even kidding. I just felt like this rush of energy come out of me, and I just felt like kind of at peace. And I was like, wow, okay. That's interesting. So Oboe, I feel like, is a little bit of a little protector for me. So he's up here, and yeah, that's my space. And that's our catch up. Okay, let's get into things. You guys, I want to be super interactive with comments and stuff like that. So you guys comment, okay, down below. Oh my God, am I a YouTuber? I don't know. We'll see. You guys comment down below your favorite part of my space, or what part you think is the cutest, what part you like the most. I'm super curious because every little thing is super thought out. You know, there's some people, you go to their house and they just throw stuff together and it doesn't make any sense. Everything in my house has a story for the most part. Like every little piece that I have has a story. Like I just told you about the globes, story. Like Oboe, story. Breathe, story, right? Like everything has a story. So yeah, Let me know what you think, what you think is really cool and what's not. Okay, let's get into it, fam. I want to talk about the collective energy, but I also want to talk about triggers and anxiety, to be honest, because the collective energy is something that I have always, always, always been very sensitive to. And the past week has been heavily anxiety induced. So, like I said, you'll be listening to this a couple days after I actually record it. So, think back to a couple days ago, maybe like 5 days ago to a week ago, how you were feeling. And it was like the ending of that Mercury retrograde period. Were you feeling the intense anxiety that was coming up for the collective? And were you feeling that intense, like, it felt like a purge. It felt like all the negative things that could surface that last moment at the end of that retrograde just like surfaced. And for me, it was a lot of triggers. It was a lot of trauma being resurfaced and just stuff like that. It was very anxiety inducing. But yeah, think back to how you were feeling and if you were feeling super triggered at that time. So the thing that's very tough when it comes to triggers, and it's what makes it really hard when triggers start coming up to the surface, is we literally go right back to the place that we were when that first trigger happened. So if you have experienced trauma and something triggers you, and you go right back to that place where you were experiencing that trauma. And it's very hard to pull yourself out of that when you're in it. It's like you're in a spiral of it. You're in a dark, deep moment of it. And it's really hard sometimes to pull yourself out of it. And this also kind of just reminds me too of patterns, how we get ourselves stuck in patterns and we're just like doing the same thing over and over. And a lot of times our patterns aren't even good for us, but we continue doing them because it's comfortable. And we will rather, a lot of the times it's human nature, we would rather stay in our comfort zone than to actually face things and make the changes that we need to make, because it's harder to break out of cycles. It's harder to break patterns than it is to just stay in it. It's so much more comfortable. Like, let me just stay here and it's so much more comfortable. Let me give you an example of this. So I have a negative pattern of just like wanting sweets, and I'm like an emotional eater. I just want to eat when I'm stressed. I want to eat when I'm sad. I want to eat when I'm happy. Like, food is my thing. I'm a Taurus, so it's just like literally in my blood. But also I started using food as a coping mechanism at a young age, and food would be my comfort. So now I am starting to, and I'm trying really hard, you guys, I'm trying really hard. I'm starting to really focus on my health and wellness, and I'm paying a lot more attention of what I'm putting in my body. So me knowing that sugar is such an addiction for me, like sugar is like a drug to me. Like, you guys, it's bad. Like, it's bad. Is really bad. I can't, if you are also like addicted to sugar, like, then you already know what I'm talking about. But I am so addicted to sugar. So with me knowing that, and I've been to like a naturopathic doctor, she told me that it's probably best that I cut it out of my diet, given like family history, given, she did my blood work and saying that my blood, I don't know, I don't speak doctor, but basically my body doesn't super break it down very well and everything like that. And I almost sometimes have like, you would think like an allergic reaction when I have a lot of sugar. So basically the naturopathic doctor, her advice was, you got to cut it out of your diet. Like, if you want to live healthy lifestyle for yourself, it's best for you to just be done with sugar and only stick to natural sugars, which is like fruits, honey, things like that. And so I've gone on and off with that. I have gone through a couple of months, no sugar. I've gone through months where I would be like off of it for a month and then back on it for a month, and then I would feel horrible. So then I would get off of it again for a month. It's literally almost, for me, it's like an addiction, and I have to like wean myself off of it slowly. So right now I'm in a phase of that again, of weaning myself off of the sugar. And I'm trying really hard to be super mindful of the way that I'm eating and taking care of my body, because You guys, I am flawed just like everybody here on this earth. We are flawed. We are children of God, but we are flawed, right? So I understand healing and your mindset work and being mindful and meditation and your nervous system and regulating your nervous system. Like, I understand these things so well, different healing practices. But y'all, when it comes to the food and the things that I'm putting into my body in that aspect, I just still struggle with it. So this sugar and everything, for example, I have been trying to be a lot more mindful. I've basically taken it out of my diet. I'm allowing myself one treat a month for now because I'm weaning myself off of it. But yesterday I went to Target and old Prenetta, okay, was looking at the sweets and she was like, oh, just get something that's like no sugar added. Like, oh, just like get something. But we all know that it has other like alcohol sugars and it has like chemicals and stuff in there. But my mind was just like, just do it, just get something, just get something. And it was so easy for me to just pick up something that was just like no sugar. Or I was like, oh, I said I was going to have one treat a month, so maybe I'll make this my treat. Like, my brain was just like, you need it, you need it, you need it. And then honestly, I guess just because I've been really working on it, I was like, no. How about you just don't need it? Even if it's just a treat, even if there's no sugar added, how about you just don't do it? And I'm not going to lie, that was hard for me to do, but I left Target. You guys know. You know how hard it is to leave Target without 20 million things, okay? Do you know how hard it was for me to leave Target without some sweets and some treats and some junk? Like, it was so hard for me. And I walked out of there, though, and I'm not even going to lie to you, when I was driving back, I was like, wow. Like, I'm actually getting a lot better at this, because before I would have broke 100%. I would have gotten something. Nothing. I would have gotten something and I would have wrote it off in my head as like, oh, that was my one treat for this month, so it's fine. But that's me constantly being in a cycle. And I have to teach myself and my mind to be stronger than my patterns and my habits and what's comfortable. And I have to teach my mind to break out of that so that I can be a healthier version of myself, so that I can take better care of my body. Self-love is also taking care of your vessel. So I have learned self-love when it comes to taking care of my mind and taking time out for myself and healing those deep wounds and releasing those things from my body. But I have not mastered taking care of my vessel in the way that I'm eating. And so, yeah, if I want to see a difference, then I have to be the difference. No one is going to tell me not to do it. I was by myself. No one would have known. I would have got away with it, but it's like, but I would have known. And then I would have had something sweet, and then it would have brought me right back to the cycle that I was like on again, off again, on again, off again. And it's just like, no bueno, no good. So anyways, that's kind of an example of patterns and cycles that we have in whatever we do that's like super comfortable for us. A lot of people also, something that I've just been feeling for a lot of the collective, are super comfortable in work. And this might be you, okay, super comfortable in their work patterns. And so they will just keep perpetuating the same work cycles, even if it's toxic, same exact work cycles, toxic cycles, instead of breaking the cycle and thinking that maybe there's something better for me out there. Maybe there's something that's more aligned for me. Maybe it is time for me to work on my mission and why I actually came to this earth, instead of doing what my parents think I should do. And I'm saying that from experience. Or I'm doing what I think I should do instead of what society is telling me that I should do. And really align to what's destined for you. There's so many people out there. I can't even tell you how many times I have like had sessions with people or read with other women, like read their energy, read their cards, whatever. Everyone has a divine mission, you guys. Every single one of us has a divine mission. A lot of the time, our fear gets in the way of stepping into alignment for what that actual path is for you, because society says the only way we can survive is through a 9-to-5 job. That's what society says, right? And I am not even going to sit here and say to you that entrepreneurship is the way, and it's super easy, because it's not. It's, trust me, I've had my challenges like you wouldn't even believe, okay? But I truly, truly think that we came here to be in our divine mission, in our divine alignment. So, whatever you're super gifted at, whatever you're super passionate about, whatever little thing has been like, should I try that? Should I do that? Should I go this way? That's what you should be doing. Okay, that is your divine path. That is your destiny. That is what is meant for you. If there's anybody out there who's like very much into astrology, I feel like if you're listening to this, then you probably are into astrology, right? So if you look at your astrology, your chart will tell you what your path is in a way. You can go on different websites. You can have somebody read your chart. I can read your chart. It's expensive though, because it takes a lot to read somebody's chart, okay? Like a lot of time. But anyways, if you look at your chart, there will be something in there that will confirm to you what has already been in your heart this whole time. So your life path in a way that's already been on your heart this whole time. You can look at your life path number. You can look at your human design. Okay, human design told me that my most powerful source is my voice. My most powerful thing is my dedication and the way that I pursue sharing my knowledge with the collective, which is literally what I'm doing right now. And that's why when I do this work, it just feels so aligned. When I do group calls, when I do one-on-one sessions with people, when I hold retreats, when I do anything with helping the collective learn and giving them the knowledge that I have and the gifts and using my gifts to help other people, it just makes so much sense to me. It makes so much sense. It's like in that exact moment. And if you've ever done anything that feels like this is my passion, this is my thing, this is it. Like whatever that is for you, if you have ever felt that in a moment, then you know what that feeling is where you're like, wow, like this is what I'm supposed to be doing for the rest of my life. You can just feel it. Yeah, so I feel like I wasn't even really planning on talking about that, but obviously there are people out there who are meant to hear that, because I think a lot of the collective right now is feeling uncomfortable naturally because the collective energy has just been feeling very uncomfortable. And I think people are trying to probably hold on to what is comfortable. So what do we hold on to? Our patterns, our cycles, our habits, right? And sometimes you'll be surprised. I caught myself recently too. Sometimes you'll be in a pattern that is so old that you're like, what? What? Like I have an old pattern of trying to fit in, basically, like trying to fit the mold of everyone else when Lord knows I'm not like anybody else, because none of us are, first of all. But also I'm like reading energy and I'm picking up things. The way that I communicate is not how like day-to-day people communicate. A lot of the times I feel like I'm like an alien, but I know that I'm not. If anything, I'm more of like an earth angel. An earth angel. But sometimes I feel like I communicate like an alien, or like people look at me like I'm an alien, because not everyone is awakened to this path. So I start talking about certain things with them, the astrology, I start talking about collective energy, I start talking about my guides, and people are like, what is wrong with this girl? You know what I mean? And I have felt myself recently, because I've been meeting more people, I've been going out more. Your girl's getting a life finally. But yeah, I've been catching myself muting that part of myself, like quieting it. And the other day I started channeling while I was having a conversation in a client session, which happens to me a lot. So I started channeling in a client session and I was like, all right, I literally just feel like I just saw a message. I have to look at that. I wrote something on my board and my guides are pointing it out to me. So I'll look at that afterwards. Not right now, but I see it. Okay. See, that's what I'm saying. I can't say that in a normal conversation with people. People be like, this girl is crazy. She's off her rocker. She's insane. She's lost her mind. Right? And I have to like quiet that part of me. And I've caught myself recently doing that a lot. And the other day I got super frustrated with myself and I felt like my higher self is like, girl, what are you doing? Like, didn't we move past this already? Like, aren't you past this point in your life where you're trying to pretend to be like everybody else to fit in? Like, We didn't bring you here to fit in. You came to stand out so that you can share your knowledge, so that you can share your gifts, so that you can help others awaken, so that you can help others heal. I didn't come here to be like everybody else. And I literally felt my higher self like screaming that at me the other day. And I was like, okay, I was doing mirror work. And this is why I love mirror work, right? Because you can't avoid the truth, because you're literally looking at your eyes, the window to the soul, and you can connect with your soul and your higher self and your inner child. And my higher self was saying to me, like, why are you acting this way? And that's an old pattern for me. My old pattern was to ignore my gifts. My old pattern was to quiet my intuition. My old pattern was to ignore what I knew was true, but I just didn't want to say it because I didn't want people to look at me like I was crazy, right? So literally suppressing my true self. And I recognized recently that I was doing that. I was like, I'm not doing that. I worked too damn hard on myself and my healing work to get to a point where I'm like, now I want to start hiding. For what? For what? Like, no freaking way. My higher self was like, psh, 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 psh. No. So here we are. Okay. On another note, the collective energy right now, okay? I want to say this in a way where it's not about being in fear, okay? I want to say this in a way where it's more about being informative, and it's more about maybe confirming to you also that you're not crazy and that maybe you're picking up something too. But I have a couple of friends, obviously, who are very awakened, and just recently, the last couple of days, I just have been reaching out to them, just kind of like confirming things that I've been getting myself. And a lot of the times when a lot of intuitive starseeds, light workers, earth angels are on the same page, it means because something's happening. Okay, something is brewing in the collective. When we are all picking up very similar messaging, when we are all picking up very similar downloads, it means that something is happening in the collective. So recently, I've been picking up a lot of energy of, I'm trying to figure out a way to say this without freaking people out, because I feel like every time I bring it up, people are like, what? Massive changes and shifts happening in our 3D reality. And if you are already on this awakened path and you've been seeing, oh my gosh, see, my guides are talking to me right now. They just point out the number 23 to me. Okay, so if you guys have been seeing a lot of messages about 9/23 being a portal day, it's an equinox, fall equinox, yeah, and it being a portal day, a lot of messages have been coming out that the veil will be thin, which is most powerful days, eclipses, like 11/11, 8/8, all of those really powerful, potent days in astrology and numerology. There's typically a spiritual aspect where the veil is thin. So the veil to the other side will be very thin. And I tell people all the time that when the veil to the other side is thin, good things can happen. That's why you can like manifest, connect with your loved ones who have passed. You can see your truth in your life because the veil is very, very thin. But on the other side of that scale is the dark energy spirits and forces also have access to us a lot easier. So this energy has been coming in for me like a warning, like protect your energy and protect yourself, stay prayed up, like stay protected, stay in alignment with God and your intuition, because right now I think our intuition is going to be the thing that guides us the most. So going back to that 9/23, if you've been seeing that a lot, people are saying that this is going to be a very powerful day, but I think it's going to be an activation day. So around that time, we can probably start to feel ascension symptoms. We might feel super tired. We might feel super fatigued. We might feel super high vibe. We might feel super frustrated. You might start getting headaches. You might, for me, most of the time, it's like exhaustion. So you want to make sure when this energy is coming around, you want to make sure that you are staying hydrated. You want to make sure that you are listening to your own voice and your own discernment, okay? Because like I said, when the veils are thin like this and there's energy going on that, how do I say this? Okay. When there are powerful days that we experience, just as much as the good can use it for good, the bad can use it for bad. So that's why I say be cautious, be aware, be protecting yourself, your space, your energy. If you sage, I do crystal grids around my house. So I put crystal grids around my doorway, and I've been receiving just a couple of messages about this energy. Let me tell you a couple. One has been kind of like a warning, like to protect yourself at like in all ways, physically and spiritually. That's what I've been getting. Be very careful and very aware when driving and when just like being out and about and around other people. Be very aware. And yeah, I also received a message recently from my guides while I was in dream state to read Revelations, and that message has never come through for me. It's crossed my mind before, but it came up in a dream, and that's where I have a lot of premonitions, is in dream state. And so I know when it comes in like that, a lot of times it's my guides being like very clear, like you need to read Revelations. And so I started reading Revelations, and they were like, no, you need to like read it now. And I felt like they were saying read it now because there's stuff happening right now today that is very much in alignment to what the Bible says about like the end of days, right? And I don't believe that we are going to have our end of days. Well, here's the thing. I'm never going to pretend, y'all, there are people online who are acting like they know everything. There are people online acting like they just know. And I get it. Like I have gifts too, right? So when I'm speaking to you, I'm telling you everything that I've been told. First of all, I am not God. So I'm not going to act like every word that comes out of my mouth is matter of fact. But I do receive messages for before things happen of like an energy of, I get, like I was saying, warning signs. I get like messages like read Revelations, like stuff like that comes in for me. And there's no way that all of these things aligned are not connected. You know, like these things are connected. How many people are talking about 9/23? How many people are talking about the end of days? How many people are talking about new earth? How many people are talking about possibility of us seeing aliens sometime soon? You know what I mean? Just stuff like that. And like I'm saying, I don't have all the answers, but I do know intuitively that stuff's going to start popping off in our 3D world. We are going to start seeing things. We are going to start experiencing things in our 3D world. And we just need to be aware. I had a premonition before 2020 hit. Okay. And this was, again, back in 2020 when I wasn't comfortable enough to share my gifts or to talk about it. Cause like, God forbid someone thinks I'm crazy. Right. But now I'm like, I really don't give a damn because first of all, there's other people like also receiving similar messages that are putting it online already. And then second is I have learned through time and years of me being on the spiritual journey that when my intuition is telling me something is the truth. And my intuition has just been telling me to be prepared and to stay safe, but to also know that this is all a part of a divine plan. And that is the sentence that I want everybody to focus on, right? Because we can get caught up in fear, and that's what we don't want to do because fear is a low vibrational state. We do not want to get caught up in fear. We need to have more faith, okay, that this is a part of the divine plan. Just like with, I don't even want to say it, in 2020, when everything started going down, a lot of us were in fear because it was so unknown, right? And it was so out of our ordinary and just something like we've never seen in our lifetime. So when that happened, everyone went into a state of fear and stress and overwhelm and anger, which are all very low vibrational states. So this is why I'm saying to you, I'm not telling you things to put you in a low vibrational state, which is what the news does. I'm telling you things to keep you aware so that when stuff starts happening, you can regulate your nervous system. You can fall back on your spiritual practices. You can know that this is a part of the divine plan. Okay, this is all a part of the divine plan. This is all to help Earth shift. I received a message that God was calling back his heaven on earth. That's a message that I received. And some people can say that's new earth. Some people can say that we're going to be having contact with extraterrestrials. Some people can say that Jesus is coming back for us. Some people can say this is the rapture or whatever title you want to give it, right? It's part of the divine plan. And that's all you need to know. Okay, I want to try to keep these videos, podcasts, not too long, but y'all know me. I can just like talk. But my lighting is also going down, so hopefully you can see me like, I don't know. I'm doing my best. Okay, this is my first one, so we'll see how it turns out. But yeah, like I said, if you guys are feeling things coming up, listen to your intuition. There's a lot going on right now. I haven't said this in a while, but hey fam, if you are looking for answers, clarity on your path right now, because there is a lot of energy that's like, oh, this is one thing I wanted to mention also. There's a lot of energy like fork in the road, like making big life decisions right now. So if you need clarity and support during this time, reach out to me. I'll put in the description of this podcast episode and description of the video, okay? YouTube video. I will put a link to book a session with me. And yeah, feel free to reach out. Leave a comment below of your favorite part or like what you like most about the podcast. Ask me questions. Whatever, fam. Like, let's build this damn community. I feel like I received a message from my guides saying that it's time for me to connect with the people who are waiting for me to connect with them. So I know there's a collective of people out there who will feel connected to me, who will hear my podcast or listen to my podcast or watch this video, and they will feel connected to me. There's been many spiritual teachers that I have felt connected with online who have helped me on my path, and I just want to be that for other people too, because a lot of times, a lot of us starseeds light workers are very much alone when it comes to like our family situations and sometimes our friendships, and we need to know that other people are out there like us, like-minded, right? If no one has told you yet today, I'm here to tell you, I love you. Bye. Oh my gosh, 444. 4444. Bye. That's my life path number. Crazy. Okay, bye.